You're not going to want to get annoyed with
Oh, no. What? They're here on the table.
Hi, look, I don't have much time and I need to keep this really quiet, but I just need to let you know something. I really don't like chicken wings. There's this thing when it comes to autism and ADHD that lies within the senses. ADHD and autism just have this really different way of receiving sensory input, and because of that, it makes things really difficult. There is a spectrum when it comes to sensory processing. So on the one hand, you have sensory seeking, and on the other hand, you have sensory avoiding. So you have two opposite ends of the sensory spectrum. The problem with food is that we kind of need food to survive. And if you are exceptionally avoidant with food, or you're exceptionally seeking with food, that really impacts how your calorie needs are met. For example, I was actually a vegetarian for 7 years because I couldn't stand the texture of meat. It was just, today I still have issues with touching meat and stuff like that, but that's a story for another day. You're probably here because you're searching about your issues with food. You think there's something wrong with you because you just can't stand particular foods that everybody else loves. That's okay. Your sensory needs are different. We understand that there is a particular range of foods that we will only eat. We understand that this is a problem. We understand that we can't eat cheese and crackers for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner for months. Yeah, I did do that. So what about if we brainstorm some ways where we're eating the right foods on a semi-regular basis? Actually, you know what? Let's discuss this in my kitchen. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Oh, hey, there you are. About time. Jeez, you're a really slow walker from there to there. What's up with that? It's weird. So to get around the problem of food, if you have access to it, definitely recommend getting a blood test. Go see a doctor. Go talk to a nutritionist as well and talk to them about the different kinds of foods that you want to incorporate more into your diet and the different kinds of foods that you don't want to incorporate into your diet anymore. You can make these changes in very small increments. It's not just the end result, it's also the journey for you to get there. Go look up nutrition videos on YouTube, learn about vitamins and how vitamins interact with your body. Do all of those things, but if you have already done all of that and you're still having trouble with your diet, then here's the next thing you can do. You can keep a food journal. Keep a food journal for a week and learn more about the types of foods that you do eat. The two main obstacles that you need to find ways around are the taste and the texture. These were the struggles that I had for a long time before I came up with my own creative ways around that. I do eat a lot more foods now that are much better for me, but in my brain, they kind of look like they're really not that good, you know? I'm just going to use one particular food today because this was the one that I had the most difficulty with, and I feel like I have solved this problem once and for all. And that food is bananas. I hate bananas. I hate bananas. I don't like bananas because one banana at any given point in time is never going to be the same thing. These bananas are green. They contain a lot of starch. They are a more wooden texture. The flavor is not too sweet. Not a big fan of them. Lots of fiber. Yay. These bananas are yellow. They contain a lot more sugar. They have a much gooier texture, very sticky at times. And the further ahead in time these bananas sit on my counter, the blacker they get. They get dark, they get bruised, they become really sweet, but then really mushy. It's not good. In addition to this, I also have issues with black spots on my bananas. I don't like fruit that has bruised because it really does change the taste of the whole banana if there is a big old bruise on it. So if I don't like bananas raw, what can I do to change this? I thought about it and went, well, what kind of food do I like? I really like a food that has a nice crunch to it. I like a food that has a bit of a chew to it, but not a rubbery chew. So kind of like an al dente pasta. Another thing I really like is bread. Love bread. So how can I turn this into something I like? Well, what I did was I changed the fundamental properties of the presentation of the banana. Fancy, huh? Yeah. I took these and I turned them into a different food. I turned them into banana chips. The banana chips you buy at the shops are usually coated in syrup and freeze-dried. These, however, I just dried at home using it in my, dehydrator. This thing. The difference between this and this is staggering. For one thing, these all have the same consistency. They have all the same texture. They have the same crunch, so they snap. They have the same taste, and they're going to have exactly the same taste tomorrow or in a week's time. The next type of texture I like is a chewy texture, so I turn them into something chewy. Chewy. I turn them into a fruit roll-up. This is much more pleasant for me to eat than this. And lastly, I turned it into a muffin. This particular muffin is also made with coconut flour because I'm gluten-free and I have like 50 different flours. I mean, it's probably not as good as a banana, but it's better than this. You can apply this logic to pretty much any kind of food that you're struggling to eat. If you don't like your carrots raw, cook them. You can boil them or steam them and mush them into a paste, and then you can add them into other foods there where you won't know that a carrot's going to be in it. For example, a pasta sauce is a great way to hide a lot of carrots. Something that is always interesting too is going down rabbit holes of learning about how parents hide vegetables in foods for their kids. That's a really great way of tricking yourself into thinking that you're eating something that's really bad for you when it's actually not. Like, I've seen parents put broccoli or zucchini in their muffins. If you have ADHD, you might know of the buddy system, body doubling. And that is when you get a friend and you get them to come around and you cook together. That's a great way to learn about how to cook. Especially if you've got a friend that really likes to cook, because you can learn all sorts of really good fun dishes, and it lets you explore a little bit more in the way of food. So I hope this has been helpful, and hopefully with a little bit of work, you'll learn a little bit more about yourself, the type of food you don't like, the type of foods you do like, and you can implement some slow, positive changes in the type of foods that you do eat. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job and that my content has value. I really appreciate you being here with me today. My name is Eden. I have lots of ideas, and I'll see you in another video to talk about another one. Ate half of it. Thanks, Eden.